it like being a black successful married man in the most promiscuous city of Atlanta? Both of y'all. Y'all time to shine. What is it like? So let's get it started off. First off, go
I
ahead.
think it depends on the situation. I'm going on a little bit over 2.5 years married, but we didn't move here married. I moved
Right.
here in 2007. I think it would be a different situation for a married man to move here with his wife and
Mm.
haven't
Didn't experience the
seen
city.
Atlanta
Didn't
or
didn't taste this
experienced Atlanta.
champagne down here.
That is different
This
than
Hennessy.
I had 10, 12 years in Atlanta.
That's why I was gonna ask.
And
How do y'all compare and contrast being a single man in the city versus being a married man in the city?
again, when you first get here, it's great to be a single man. But after 10 years, you almost looking for marriage. I mean, you get everyone. I can
What
say
you get?
everyone,
What you get tired of?
but you want someone. You want something special. You want something of value. You want to have something that means something.
I can see the women now. I like him. Y'all need to bring
but
him back.
You don't. You realize what you were taught as. It takes time to realize what you might have been taught as a young man about what a man is, and that hunt for a woman or women as many as possible. Was a lie. But I definitely feel if you're a man newly married 2 years in and you and your wife move here in your mid-20s, good luck, brother. To both of y'all. It ain't just men, it's women. This is wild on both sides. It ain't like just the women are all,
Oh, I know how these wives get down.
Yeah,
But that's another
Miko
point.
scarred.
sitting in the house on the couch while they men out running the streets. It's everybody in Atlanta wild. So I think for any new marriage, Atlanta would be hard. But if you have a strong marriage and if you know you are doing the right thing, you'll be fine.
So does a man have the right intent or the best chances of trying to find a wife in Atlanta as a single man?
I'm different from him, right?
Go ahead.
Like my perspective is so I agree with the premise of with his response to the first question. And so what I think is, if you move here, I'm in all agreements. I've been here since 2003. I had my year, and I had my year of just serial dating.
That's when them girls was dancing in their stilettos.
Hey,
We
I
rocking
done had
stilettos out?
no. That's too low. Bro. that was
03 was like Crime Mob.
no.
05?
I'm saying when I was doing my serial dating.
Okay, gotcha.
I did my serial dating in mid-20s.
Okay.
So I'm out here with it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you was out here with it. We
The
definitely
cap
talk
of
about that
1
day.
year for me was like I went on probably about 75 dates in a year.
Yes, he did.
It's in the mid-70s.
Yes, he did.
And so you get burnt out. And I look at you now, and I be like, even though
He always loved to throw me in the mix.
do this.
In
I
my
look at-
relationships and my
No, see,
woes.
no.
My
No,
lover,
no.
my lover's woes
I'm
in
not-
the mix.
I'm not acting like you the outlier. I'm acting like you the norm.
Okay.
What you get is, if you new here, you gotta soak it up. You gotta experience everything. It ain't even the same as it was, cause when I had enough. I was here long enough, and he's been here long enough to know when the night scene was popping, and now the day scene is popping. Everybody want to do a day party or whatever.
Yeah.
The clubs ain't the same, but the social scene to some
Lounges
extent,
now.
Yeah, the social scene to some extent is still there. It's just Chocolate City. You got to know how to absorb it, and you got to know who you are before you come here. Because if not, you get lost in it. And it's very easy because you move here. Most people don't just move here for the finance. You move here for finances.
Right. The
you
lifestyle.
You move here for the cost of living. You move
Facts.
here so you can have better opportunities. And
Right.
what you realize quickly is that everybody is doing the same thing. And then you get the Black Hollywood aspect even when you go into the suburbs. So you got to really be grounded in yourself first, or find yourself before you find.
How do y'all feel
marriage.
that y'all changed being from single men?
Hold on, let me get to the second
All right, go
question. Well, the second question was, give it to me again.
The difference between you being a single man dating Atlanta versus you now being a married.
Oh,
So
well,
let's
my
go black
single
man
friends
now.
helped me because I got it out. My single friends helped me get the perspective that, like,
Ain't shit out here for you.
right, because it ain't like my single friends got. Woo, boy, it's been a. You might have a hell of a night, but then
Facts.
you got.
I got some
She
stories
either
for
gonna
that.
kick herself out or you gonna kick her out.
Big facts.
she gonna move on to the next one, or you gonna move on to the next one.
Facts.
And that get empty after a while.
So
the box gonna feel the same.
I feel that. That's a fact. Smell the same too.
Right, and you.
Right, if you're lucky. If you're lucky, cause boy.
So when you get past that and you realize like you get into it with your woman, you know what I'm saying, all of that. It's ups and downs. Marriage is definitely a daily sacrifice, and you always got to know.
Why you looking into the stars like that?
I'm looking into the camera. Marriage is definitely a daily sacrifice, and you got to know who you are before you get married. Daily. But the reality is, you definitely have to know whether you married already or not.
Do women come at y'all now more that y'all married or not?
Hell no.
More, yeah, I think that's over exaggerated. But the ones who do,
they try hard.
They go hard.
Word.
But I don't think it's more. When you
I don't have those experiences. I don't. When I'm walking around, I don't, cause I think.
First off, you got your ring on right now?
No, I don't walk around with my ring unless I'm with my wife.
Yeah,
really.
you don't. Yeah.
I mean, I got a bunch of rings too.
Ty got his ring on.
I'd be like Sonic with the rings, bro. I got a million rings. But when it comes to it, it's like.
So when you talk to, hold on, cause you told me.
No, but I'm saying you said more.
Well, Ty didn't say more, but he said the ones that do, they go hard.
Well,
not hard.
They come out the gate hard.
Yeah,
I need to know what those experiences is like, because when women come at me.
So when you at the cigar bar,
women come at me until women see me different. Have always seen me different. They've always seen me as a stable person. I ain't never been no sex symbol.
I mean, okay, I follow you on that. I follow, but let me say, do women think you're more? Tell the truth. I can answer for you, but I want you to say, do you think women find you to be more desirable now that you're a black man that's successfully married? Successful and
everything
married.
Except for the married.
I say
me.
Successful and married.
No, everything except for the success. I most of the women deal with me respectfully because I'm married, because I was always seen as the nigga that they want to marry, not somebody that they just want to take home and fuck. So
probably not the fuck, but a lot of I've seen it. You probably haven't noticed, but I've seen women when who you've engaged with be like, you know, I see the interest, I see the light bulb light up when they already know that you're married, and they're fond of how well together you are,
right?
And because they look at marriage men as this pillar of, especially successful married men, as this pillar of everything is all right on their side, or you know, that's strong. They look at it as strength and power. You know what I'm saying? I still
get women that look at me with admiration.
Yeah,
that happened when I had a kid. When I had a kid, and I, you know what I'm saying, with my kid all the time. Okay. That happened when I'm taking care of my sister. That happened when they look at me with this level of admiration. But it didn't really, when I'm like, yeah, I'm married, they be like, oh, okay, it's a step back. And they don't push forward. I don't get it. If you can speak English.
So I'm gonna say this. So moving right along. So I'm gonna say this. What about even damn, that shit threw my train of thought off. Hold on. Let's call me off guard. All right, so hold on. Even being as being married black men, do you all see it as like, is there a chill factor where you all is like, damn, I'm glad I'm not out there doing that again?
All the time.
Hell yeah.
Word?
All the time.
Dude, every time I hear a
even
story,
when y'all see these,
listen,
such temptation, succulent.
What you know from that's why you gotta do it before.
Yeah.
Right? When 75 dates was draining as fuck for me, bro. Right. 70 something. I'm gonna call it 75. Right. It was in the mid 70s. That's draining as fuck, because at the end of that year, I didn't feel like y'all was encouraging me.
Hold on. So what did y'all find so unique about your wives before marrying them that you was like, I could spend some the rest of my life.
Like, he want to say some time?
I want to say, yeah, sometime, because you know me. I'm like, look, this ain't gonna work. I ain't mind I don't mind the eject.
He's not a marriage is forever.
Right, but how did when y'all met? What made y'all wives stand out? Because women gonna want to know that. What was it about your wives that was so significant enough to make y'all be like, I'm willing to put a ring on that?
First thing I would tell women is, don't look for the same. Every man isn't looking for the same thing. So what he loves in his wife is probably totally different from what I love in my wife. Or why he wanted to get married is totally different. The only thing we have in agreement is our wives met us at a point in life where we probably were ready for marriage.
I'm glad he said that.
So
that was gonna be my starting point.
Because
hold on,
no, because black men want to know. These single black men want to know.
He answer the question. So I want the answer.
So, but in my particular situation, it helped that we were introduced by family. My first cousin is married to her best friend.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's almost the vetting process is done.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit more it's already built on a little trust. That person vouches for you, so
because they know how you are.
Trust
and
is
everything.
usually the hardest thing to get in a relationship. So
Facts.
if someone I know and care for vouches for you, and someone she knows and cares for vouches for me, that part of it isn't as hard. And you know, she even said when we started out, some of the things I was saying, me being ready and wanting to settle down, she had to go back to her best friend and be like, "You think he's serious?" You know what I mean? She was like, "Well, he ain't the type to say it if he
mean it."
Yeah, if he said it, he probably mean it. And so that was like, okay, well, he's serious then. If it was a stranger that no one knew, she wouldn't be able to get that type of vetting. So it helps there. But also, when you do that 10 years of dating, you know what you don't want.
Facts.
You know what you not what you can't live with.
Facts.
You know what would drive you crazy. And she came from a family. I always wanted a woman who came from a big family, who was about family. So that is a big part of her family, means a lot to her. She was intelligent. You know me. I love to have intellectual conversations. So someone who
is she your wife on that pro-black train?
She is not.
See, that's why I never noticed about your wife.
I don't know if it would work if we both were. So I am. So and sometimes she'll be like, "I don't need that today."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but she lets me be on that.
That's
but she
interesting.
is not. But as a Haitian woman, she's very proud of her heritage, and her culture.
Right.
So she'll speak on that, and as a Haitian American, but she ain't like I am. No, and she doesn't. But again, what attracted her to me was that I read all the time. She was like, "You read a lot." And that was an attractive thing to her. Was like, you would just read for no reason.
You are like a little D.L. Hughley. You are D.L. Hughley.
How many people we gonna go through?
I'm about to say these numbers is adding up.
But again, and it's that it was ease. A lot of times, just that it was just easy. Like our conversation was easy. I tell people all the time. She lived in South Carolina every night for the first 2 weeks. We talked. I'm in my 30s. I'm 38 when I met her. We talked every night for at least 3-4 hours.
Damn.
I ain't see her for 2 weeks. I ain't traveled to South Carolina for 2 weeks. So every night we was talking 3-4 hours on the phone. And I mean, about real stuff. We had very real conversations very early on. We didn't want to, do the little cutesy stuff where you just asking dumb questions. We was asking real stuff and we could go on for hours talking. That was nice. You ain't experienced that since high school for real.
So what about when you first met her then? Like physically in person, like after those 2 weeks when you actually had a date. How was that?
It went smooth. It was cool. It was really, you're nervous, of course. You're a little nervous, but it was cool. She took me to a museum the first time I visited her.
Wow.
And
so she took you on a date.
Yeah, she did technically. She took me to a museum the first time I visited her, and we went to see some French exhibit because Haitian, she speak Creole and French, and I was impressed with the white lady who was curating. Couldn't read something that was on the wall that was in French, and she correcting it. She had said what they said, and she was like, "Actually, it says this, that, and the third." And the white lady was so taken back. "You speak French?" And she was like, "Yes." She was like, "Oh, yeah, I didn't understand it." And so I was like, anytime a white lady,
anytime a white person can get one up,
I was like, "You in there?"
She won the duel. I got you.
So after that, it was like, "Oh, that's my wife right there."
Okay, so what at point? What was the point that assured that feeling like? Yeah, I'm ready to buy this ring for her. What point during the relationship or the dating phase?
I don't know. It wasn't long. Maybe if we met, maybe 2 months in, I was like, "Oh, this is the wifey."
Like, was it? What was like? Was it a moment or?
It was just, this is it. I just knew. Like, I knew when I met her. I told her the first conversation. I said, "We're gonna probably get married."
Damn.
Yeah, so I knew. Early. I was like, "You the wife." So it was just confirmation. I just had that feeling.
Well. Pressure's on you, Mark. You're going to top that.
The deal done. Hey,
2 weeks on the phone across state lines.
Wait, time out. I was long distance, too. I lived in Sandy Springs. My wife lived in Gwinnett. I had a mile radius.
Man, that ain't nothing but a damn traffic hour away. If
she's worked in Gwinnett, I wouldn't have never married her.
All right, let's talk about how y'all came. How did you get to that? How did you get to that point of knowing that? Okay, how did you get to the point of meeting her? Taking a liking to her to where it's like, oh wow, she's different. And then at what phase or what point did you say, damn, I'm definitely buying a ring for her?
It's a few things. So the leading up get to the question you had, because you be asking separate questions for
Mm-hmm.
us. One,
The
he was
men want to know.
he was absolutely right when he said it's mostly about me. I never had bad discernment when it came to women I chose to be in a relationship with.
That's interesting. Okay.
Now I done discerned badly when it came to some other women, but when it came to, I had to be ready, and it was interesting how I was ready, because usually, when I wasn't ready too much before her, because that was the year my mom passed. So I had to process that fairly quickly. It was a bunch of changes going on, and I had stopped dating for a little bit, and then she came along, and she came and brought a different energy and spirit into my life that I didn't have before she came, because I was so much in my routine. I was adjusting to essentially having a second child and taking care of my family that I didn't focus on my happiness. And when I got with her, I didn't feel used. I felt like she valued my time and energy. I felt a sense of admiration from her, which everybody else kind of seemed like they took for granted everything that I was doing. And I got this woman who really not asking for much, and she really came and helped my situation by alleviating some of the stress and alleviating. She was very active, especially financially early, and I wasn't for that for the most part. I was resistant to help, and so what ended up happening is she was around. I think the day I talked to her the first time, I was like, "Fuck it, let's go on a date today." And she was like, nah. She's usually skeptical, but her friends was like, "Yeah, girl, go do it." She's like, "I'm in my scrubs." I was like, "I don't give a fuck about no scrubs. You got a job." So we go on a date. Energy is amazing, and every time I was seeing her, the energy was always there. And the exhaustion you get with Atlanta is people get this dating fatigue, and people get this fatigue, and don't even show up with optimism. Now, my wife was green, so she was green enough to have a certain amount of optimism. She was new enough to it to have a certain amount of optimism about it, and she wasn't a serial dater, so every experience was one in itself. We got to engage in it. Happened over a long period of time. Usually, I just jump right in. I was like, "Nah, let me chill. Let me enjoy her for a little bit." So it took a few months, and I was honest with her, and she accepted my honesty, which was, "Hey, I want to be with you, but I got to close some doors before we open this one." And she was like, "All right." It took about a week for me to let people know, like, "Yo, I'm moving this way. I'm going around." And she was real. I was surprised, because some people don't like to know that there was ever competition. But I was like, I don't want nobody texting my phone and nothing like that when I don't want to mess this up. If it failed, it failed, but I ain't gonna be the cause of it. And we was rocking for a while, and we ended up in a relationship after like 3 months, and then everything just kind of started progressing fast. And it was the most mature relationship I've ever had, and also the longest, because I was just cut it off after once I got in my other relationships when I was in a bad space, and then when I was done with it, I never felt the need to fight through it. It was just, all right, we done. And they would be shocked, because I don't have a history of arguing and dating and none of that. I mean, arguing with my exes and none of that. And I ain't even argue with my wife until we got married. So
that's a warning shot home.
So, but like he said, it was I had very honest conversations with her.
Yeah.
I had very open conversations with her about my perspective, because those are the things that I needed to know that she was going to be okay with. She knew I had a son. She had an understanding of how involved I was in my son's life, and all of these things, and how she was good with people. She was good with my son. She was good with, you know what I'm saying, just a very different dynamic of a woman that I had experienced. And so I decided to continue to invest in that, and she invested too.
Okay. So do y'all think that, let me ask y'all this straight up.